right, and we're here joined by Blake File. Blake, thank you so much for taking a second.
Yeah, for sure.
So, why did you decide to submit your film to the festival, and why did you think it was important for films to be in festivals?
Well, first of all, my parents are from the Western New York region, and so I have roots in this general area. And with this particular film, I was super excited to see that the festival was focused on New York filmmakers that maybe weren't necessarily based in the city. Because I feel like there's such a wide swath of artists in this state, and so many of them get focused on in New York City. And so to know that there was a space that was also affordable and had a diverse lineup of age ranges was really exciting to me. And it was also a super affordable submission fee. So I think the combo of all of those things was important to me. But I think what's really exciting about this particular festival, and to your question about why screening in festivals is so important, I think it does genuinely give an opportunity to people who wouldn't otherwise have a platform to share their work in a space where people actually care about it. And what I like about this kind of situation is it's very clear that there's been a lot of mindfulness put into developing this festival. You have an impeccable crew of people who were super prepared when I showed up. And I barely get to say this because I've gone to so many of these festivals, but the lineup that I just saw is perfect. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, absolutely, and especially in today's day and age, a lot of times people make films and they only end up on the internet, and
Yes.
you kind of get some validation through the internet, but a lot of times you post it and it's kind of like that's it. So
Yeah.
why do you think it's important for people to come to festivals, meet other people in person, and kind of build their community around them?
It'll be two parts. The first is we spent, I don't know what, 2 3 years inside our homes, isolated away from each other. I love the internet. It's become a little bit different than it was when I was a kid. Definitely not the same space. But I think that the second you get to stand in front of another human being, the veil of technology is no longer available to people to actually let you know how they feel about their work in a good way or a bad way. So that's a huge part of it. But also, I just think storytelling is the best way that we can speak truth to power right now. I think it's a very confusing moment that we're all living through. And I think the best way for people to get to know each other for real, and not have any excuse to hide behind something like the internet, and rather come express not just how their feelings or what their stories are, but what they're seeing in other people's stories. I think it's an opportunity for genuine togetherness at a moment where we're losing that in a big way. And I'm going to say this on camera. There's a documentary called Join or Die, and it is about the decline of club memberships in the United States, mirroring civic engagement. And so when you have this really great opportunity to come engage with people basically in a local community that's adjacent to the one that I live in, you're asking yourself to create a space of healing inside your body because, right, again, as I said, it's hard to be a human right now. And this country is very unclear about what direction it wants to take. And so I think this kind of space gives a whole swath, again, of people to show up and say, here's who I am, take it or leave it, let's have a conversation. And I think that's cool.
Absolutely, I think that's incredibly important. Something we're losing as humans. So it's great that everyone came out today to.
Have you seen Join or Die?
I have not, but I'm certainly going to watch it now. I'm very interested. I actually was talking to someone recently about how people aren't going out to bars anymore because they're not drinking, which is one, a different argument. But the one that's super interesting is that they're not replacing it with something else. So they're losing a lot of social interaction that way. So I think it's super important that everyone gets together to do these things. So when everyone comes out and they see your film today, what do you hope that they take away from your film?
Well, I just want people to have fun, that's for sure. I'm picky when it comes to making sure that my work gets in front of the right people, because I spent too many years putting my work in spaces where it clearly didn't belong, and or people didn't clearly didn't want it to be there, which is their prerogative and totally fine. But I just really like to see people respond to the stuff that I make, again, good or bad, because like, how am I supposed to grow as an artist? And so I think that's a big part of it. And then the other piece of it is just like feeling inspired. I sat through that block of films just now, and the whole time, like, another movie would start. XYZ Boys was, it was so funny, and I was watching it, and all of these ideas started generating in my head, where I was like, oh, now I have an idea, and they pulled it off, so like I could probably pull it off in this way. And so I hope people feel inspired to just kind of like do their thing, because we have to stop being afraid to show up as ourselves as artists, but also as people. So I just hope people feel inspired to be themselves, if you're an artist or otherwise.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. Blake, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
out
for
today.
sure.
And
Thanks for chatting.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Nice to meet you.